Hi guys, my name is Rhea Goyal and today I am going to talk about how I read 100 books in 1 year. So I love to read and I try to read as much as I can because I just feel like there's so many good books out there and I have not even scratched the surface yet. So I thought I'll just make a quick video on how you can read more than you already do. Number one, do not care about the classics, especially when you're new as a reader. I suggest that you should not really worry about reading the classics. When I got into reading, people always used to suggest me to read David Copperfield and other such classic novels, and I did read David Copperfield, but I just felt like it was not for me. So you just have to start with something that you find of your interest and in which you are personally interested in, and it could be fiction, non-fiction, it could be romance, thrillers, etc. And once you think that yes, okay, now I'm able to read books that are longer and they hold my attention, and you gain a certain level of attention span, and then maybe you can go to the classics. But all I'm saying is that you read because maybe you find it fun, or you want to increase your vocabulary, or I mean, it's just a source of entertainment. So just don't worry about reading the classics. Okay, so the second tip is that you need to change your mindset. What a lot of people do is that they sometimes stop reading the books in the middle. As soon as the book gets a little bit boring, they just stop. And I'm just saying that don't do that, because every book at some point or the other does get a little bit boring. There are a lot of descriptive chapters, and you just feel like you don't need to read all this. So maybe you can skim over them if you feel like, this is unnecessary information and it's not going to help you to really gain anything on the book. So you can definitely skim those chapters, but I do suggest that you don't stop reading. Don't stop reading the book. I personally read, most of the time I read 2 books at a time, because one book, I pick up books strategically, of course. So one book is something that is more about the journey, that you need to read slowly to really get the essence of the book, and the other could be a page turner, it could be a thriller. So you can do that too. You can read 2 books at a time. There's nothing wrong in it. It's not like you're committed to, I mean, it won't show any sort of, non-commitment or non-committal behavior towards a book. You don't have to worry about that. Just go along with it. You can read 2 books at a time. It's going to be, in fact, it's going to be a lot more fun for you. So yes, that was the second tip. Now, number 3 is very important. It's pick the right genre. You have to pick the right genre for yourself. For example, I prefer thrillers, horrors, psychological thrillers, domestic thrillers, legal thrillers, all sorts of thrillers. And since I love reading thrillers so much, I'm able to read it very quickly because I want to know what happens next. I'm genuinely interested in the novel. Whereas if you pick something that maybe your friends are reading, or that is in some sort of top 10 book list, you might not like it, you might not enjoy the experience because it is not for you. To pick the genre that makes you happy, that makes you want to read, and trust me, it will really help you pick up more and more books, because you're just going to fall in love with the idea of reading. To read books that are simple and short, because then it will be easier for you to commit, and once you're able to commit to the idea of reading, then you're going to fall in love with it. If you feel like, it's a strain that, oh, when will the book end, or the book is too long for you, I mean, when you're starting something, you don't have that sort of attention span that will keep you reading for a longer period of time. So pick something that is simple, short, the vocabulary is not too tough, because if it's too tough for you, you're going to stop reading, and then you're going to search the word and then come back to it, and the whole thing will lose its charm. So start with something that entertains you, start with something that you think will, okay, yes, this will be fun for me, and then maybe move on to books that are a bit more difficult or complex or have more complex characters. So number 5, make a book buddy. What you can do is you can start reading a particular book with a friend, and then you can do this every week. You can pick up a new book every week, and since you have this thing in your head that, okay, by the end of the week I have to discuss the book with the friend, you'll read faster, because then you'll have the sense of competition. I mean, I am very competitive, so it works for me. Then number 6, build it into your routine. Make reading a part of your routine. For example, I try to read as much as I can during the day, but definitely at night. At night, at the end, I mean, I'll just keep my phone away, I'll put my phone away, and I'll just pick up a book and I'll read it for at least half an hour. So it's just a part of my routine. So before sleeping, I'll just read for at least half an hour, and if the book is very interesting, I can go on till 2 or 3 a.m. But at least for half an hour, I do read a book. And if you're doing something every day, then obviously you're going to do it faster. Don't make, you have to get into the book and you have to read it every day. If you read it for like one day and then after 2-3 days you'll pick up again, first of all it'll take you a couple of minutes to remember where you were, where the story was exactly, and then you're not going to have fun because the process has become so slow that you'll eventually lose interest. So just try to build it into your routine, and trust me, this is, I feel like, the most important tip, because if you want to do something, if you want to really get into something, you have to make it a part of your routine. So yes, this is, I feel like, the most important tip. Okay, so another tip is you have to start with surface level books. What I'm trying to say is that start with something like Harry Potter. Start with a book that you know has a movie also, like there is a movie based on the book. So start with that, because then you'll have interest, because it will be a part of the pop culture. So people will be talking about it, and you're gonna have fun reading it, because maybe you'll notice the differences between the book and the movie, or the similarities. And that is what I did when I started reading. I picked up Harry Potter, I picked up Twilight. Even though Twilight is not that good, but it really did help me get into reading. So that is something that you can also do. You can pick up surface level books. You can pick up books that are a part of the pop culture. And once you start getting into reading, you'll start discovering books by yourself. So you'll just start discovering books by yourself, and you'll discover such great books. And those books are just a way for you to get into reading. And then once you are done with the surface level books, you can pick up, as I said earlier, you can pick up more complex books. You can pick up books that are very deep, but you need to pick up something that interests you first. So I suggest pick up surface level books, pick up books that are, that have movies and shows based on them, because then you're gonna have fun. So yes, that is one tip, that pick up surface level books. So this is my last tip, and this is something that I do. You can start a series. If you want to read like a particular number of books in a year, then definitely pick up a series. You can pick up something like House of Night if you are into vampires and stuff. So that series itself has 9 to 13 books, I think. I've not read all of them, but yes, they did hold my attention for like, I think, the 11th book. And I personally started with Goosebumps. So in 1 year, I read 80 Goosebumps, because I was such a fan of the Goosebumps series. And likewise, you can also pick up a book series, and then you'll definitely achieve a higher number of books at the end of the year, because you've read the whole series. And you'll definitely understand more about the author from their reading. You'll understand what kind of writing you like because you've read a lot of work from a single author. And along with this tip, I just want to say that please do not give up on an author. For example, B.A. Paris. So I read B.A. Paris's Behind the Closed Doors first, and then I read Bring Me Back. I did not like Bring Me Back at all. But that doesn't mean that I won't read B.A. Paris again. So once you get to know about an author, and if you at least like one or two books by them, definitely don't give up on them. So at least you'll know about more and more books that are coming out, and again, it will help you achieve a higher number of books at the end of the year. So guys, these are the tips I wanted to share with you, and I hope they help you read more and more. And if you have any tips for me, please share them in the comments below, and thank you for watching.